Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 2. 3 more points for Manchester United. Their unbeaten home record, which now stretches 31 games intact. But my God, they made a heavy weather of it. They made a complete mess of it for a long period of time. Helped out by a couple of favorable decisions. Not that they were wrong decisions, but they were decisions that changed the course of the game. But that was a helping hand as well from the referees, you could say, in terms of, and some poor decision making from the Nottingham Forest players as well. Let's be honest here. But the fact that they've scored 3 goals is going to be good news. My only worry now is that have they used their goal quota again, for the rest of the games, and they might not score in the next 2 games. But the 2 goals that they conceded, very bad defending. You've got to start there. I mean, the first goal, Marcus Rashford, he's got, this is the problem for him, that his defensive work rate is so low. He always tries to pull out of challenges. I think he's scared of picking up an injury. He doesn't want to get injured. He doesn't want to give up his place. And so therefore he pulls out of these kind of challenges. He doesn't, fight for the ball. He doesn't always compete for the ball. And in this case, he completely lets it go. And what was shocking is how the commentators, they completely overlooked that challenge. They didn't talk about that challenge. They went, oh, Marcus Rashford, look how hard he's working to get back. He was the one who gave away the ball in the first place. If he had done his job right and had made the challenge, then he wouldn't have to track back in that fast speed. But even then, he couldn't get to the ball. But it's a good finish from Awoniyi, and it's 1-0. And it comes from a corner as well, a United corner. It comes from a United corner. I mean, that's just shocking defending, shocking midfield play. Don't know what went wrong. Probably, again, lethargy, intensity was low. And then that became 2-0. Again, it came from a set piece. This time, a Nottingham Forest set piece. Martinez completely misses his header. I've said it before. I think Martinez doesn't look like the player that he was pre-injury. I think he needs a break. He needs to not play a couple of games. I don't know. Varane is now injured, and that may mean that Martinez has to play anyway. But if Varane wasn't injured, I'd said that maybe he needs to not play for a couple of games because he looks off the pace. It really looks off the pace. It's been a while, and I think yes, sometimes you want to feel your way back in with match fitness, but sometimes you also need a break because you've not played for so long, and suddenly you play 3 games. Maybe that intensity is too much. You need a break and you need to go away for a bit. But I don't know what's going to happen with him. Ten Hag seems pretty stubborn in the players that he's picking, but I think he needs a break. But that was a poor miss from him. And defending, the marking was very bad because actually the front player had a free header and he missed it, and then it falls to Boly and he scores. It's 2-0, and I'm getting flashbacks to Brentford from last season. I'm thinking this is going to be bad. This is going to be a real nightmare, a disaster. And it's going to be an absolute mauling if what Forest wanted to be. And suddenly Forest decided we're going to defend. We're not going to play hard. We're going to defend. We're going to sit deep. There was at one point 91% possession for Manchester United. I think that's where Forest lost the game because they just went defensive at 2-0. Had they kept doing what they were doing, where they were just kind of breaking fast, being tenacious, being aggressive, they could have made it 3-0, 4-0 very quickly because United were all at sea. At that point, they were all at sea. They had no idea what to do with the ball. They had no idea what to do without it. Nobody knew who was marking whom. Absolute chaos at the back. And just by defending so deep, it allowed Manchester United to get into their shape, to get their heads down, and it allowed players to kind of get on the ball and think, okay, right, let's figure out where we're actually playing and what we're doing. And it gave them the chance to feel their way into the game, which Forest should not have allowed. And when they allowed that, United had the quality, of course, to make things happen. It's just that it doesn't show up much, but it did here. The first goal came. And I said this, Rashford actually had a poor game defensively, but he had a hand in all 3 goals. So say what you will about that. I mean, it's just, you wish he had more defensive work rate because then he would be so good. And you could say that about Antony. You wish he had more offensive work rate so he could be good as well. Antony is good in defensive work. Rashford is good in offensive work. Just can't seem to marry the both of them together. But nonetheless, it's a good shot from Bruno that falls out. Rashford, does what he does best because he's playing on the left wing, not as a striker. So he feels more comfortable. He goes past Aurier, puts in a cross. Eriksen makes the run in. It should have been Martial in that position, but it was Eriksen who did it, which was commendable. He just goes and taps it in. It's a good finish. It's actually a more difficult finish than it looks because he's actually got to take it with his heel rather than with his foot because he's on his weaker foot, which is it's his left foot. But he does very well. Makes it 2-1. And then second half they make it 2-2 with Casemiro scoring. I thought that was very shoddy defending, you have to say, from Nottingham Forest. To allow Manchester United to score from a corner or from a set piece means that you've defended very shoddily anyway. But the way that it's set up with Rashford getting the ball, he crosses it. He has enough time to cross it to Bruno. Bruno has enough time to head it to Casemiro. Casemiro has enough time to take a touch on it and then score. And that's just poor defending all around to Nottingham Forest. It's 2-2. And at that point, you thought, hey, maybe United might go on and win this. And they did, but they got a red card first from for Worrall. Was that a red card? I think it was. I didn't like how long VAR took to look at it because I thought this is crazy, but it was a red card. It was quite clearly a red card because it's a clear goal scoring opportunity. he's not trying to win the ball. He's just trying to pull him down. His only focus is to pull him down. It's a blatant foul, and I think that was the right decision to give a red card. And then there was a penalty. Now, was that a penalty? What I will say is that United had a good shout for penalty denied last week. This one, I think, should not. If it had not been given as a penalty, it would not be a penalty. But then we saw Liverpool get one very similar to this last week as well. They got one, and I think what's happening is that a lot of times what players are doing is that they're trying to pull their knee forward and they put their hands up, and it almost feels like they don't. Yeah, and from certain angles, it looks like it's a contact. I would say it's a 50-50, so I wouldn't be upset if it wasn't given, but I'm not complaining because it's given. I think it's 50-50. You can make a case for either way. As the same thing that I said for the handball shout last week is the same thing that I said for the Szoboszlai penalty last week. It's one of those where if it's not given, it doesn't get overturned, but because it's given, it's not overturned, and you can't complain too much because there's contact. It is substantial enough to get him down. It's just a matter of how the referee interprets it, and therefore it's 50-50. It's been given. I'm sure some rival fans will be saying it's a helping hand. I'm sure some fans will be, home fans will say it's a legitimate penalty. I think it's 50-50. So it's not a complaint from me that it was given. And Bruno Fernandes steps up, makes it 3-2. And then inexplicably, United did decide to again go defensive. After that, it was almost for the last 10-20 minutes. It was like Forest had 10, I had 11, and United were playing with 10. I don't know what was going on there. Really, really, surprising how United approached that game towards the end. But nonetheless, they got the 3 points. And as United fans, we should celebrate the 3 points, because I don't know when the next 3 points are going to come from. Because on the basis of that defensive performance, especially that opening 10 minutes, Arsenal are going to have a field day. Now, I know they didn't do that well against Fulham today, but the fact is that they're going to have a field day. They're going to score. They're going to get chances to score, and they're going to score them. If they keep up the tenacity and the physicality that Nottingham Forest showed, and Arsenal are very much capable of doing that, United don't stand a chance. The only reason United came back in this game is because Forest decided to drop off, and they thought it was a good idea to let United have the ball. Arsenal won't do that. They'll come hard. They won't be playing at home. They're going to come hard. They could batter United. Brighton will definitely batter United the way that they play, because they won't let up intensity. And if United approach that game lethargically, they're not getting anything out of that. So enjoy this win, and we should enjoy this win, because I don't know when the next one is coming. And but I will say that I feared the worst after that second goal went in from Forest. I thought this could be 4-5-0. If not in terms of like it's going to be a rout, but I just felt like United were completely out at sea. And Nottingham Forest, they could have scored a couple more goals, but they of course let up and it came back. But but beyond that, I think a lot of character was shown. We always talked about this team's mentality and coming from behind, and they showed that today that they can at times be able to come from behind. So that was important and a good lesson for Ten Hag. I thought Antony played well in patches, which is a step up from how he's been playing. Rashford played well, had a hand in all 3 goals, of course, as I said, aside, which was also good to see. Martial was disappointing. I would like to see Sancho as a false 9. I think it's, I know he wants a proper striker there, but I just feel like maybe you need to give Sancho, and today would have been an ideal game to give him a chance, because, it's a team that is going to be more defensive, so you can actually work some stuff out. I would like to see, not that Sancho was that much better than Martial, but I just feel he offers a little bit more fluidity. Martial, with all his injuries, now just looks slow. Yes, he's got good hold-up play and he's got good link-up play, but he just looks so slow that he doesn't really offer much beyond those kind of physical qualities. Whereas I think Sancho is more of a dovetail player. I think he can dovetail better. His movement is much better. I think that will help them more. So I'd like to see that. The midfield 3, I mean, Eriksen isn't an upgrade on Mount. Let's be honest, Eriksen isn't an upgrade on Mount. So whatever you get from Mount, you don't get that from Eriksen, but what you don't get from Mount, you get from Eriksen. So it's not like, it's like it's a trade-off, right? And Eriksen looks a little bit more comfortable in that midfield 3 because he's more of a deep-lying playmaker. But that being said, I mean, the physicality part still is non-existent. So I didn't see that much of a change. There's still a lot to work on. I think that's just the best way to end this, is that there's still a lot to work on. This win shouldn't fool anyone. Nobody should think United are back. I think this is just it is a win. In some ways you could say it's a fortunate win. United created their own luck and they deserve that fortune, but it was fortunate. And what will happen next, I don't know. But a lot to work on, and I don't see where improvements are coming from, because this is what it is. So unless these players improve, that's where it is. But there's no external force that's going to come in and improve. There's no midfielder coming in. Amrabat is a red herring like Schneider. Don't know if he's coming. If he's not coming, that's just dragging on and on. Is anybody else coming in? Probably not. So there's no external help coming. It's this team that's got to improve. And I don't know if 1 week is enough for them to improve. But let's see. Let's wait and watch what happens. Anyway, share your thoughts. Man of the match, I mean, probably give it to Rashford, right? Because he had 3 goals. Probably would be man of the match. Because even though he was at fault for the first goal, I can't really think of anybody else who really impressed me that much. And maybe Antony played well in patches, could be that, but probably go with Rashford for me. But share your thoughts. Who your man of the match is, of course. Share in the comments. Share your thoughts on the game, on the performance. Smash like on this video if you did enjoy it, and do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're getting very close to 390 subscribers, so please help us cross that. We'll have a few more videos coming up today as well, so stay tuned for those. Thank you so much. Take care. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.